the evolution of Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the world of one of cinema's most enduring and iconic monsters, Godzilla. You know, that giant city-stomping lizard we've all come to know and love. Whether you're a lifelong fan or just curious about what makes this colossal creature so special, you're in the right place. Over the next few minutes, we're going to take a thrilling journey through Godzilla's incredible history. From his origins in post-war Japan to his status as a global pop culture icon, we'll explore how Godzilla has evolved over the decades. The birth of a legend. So let's set the scene. It's 1954 in Japan. The country is still reeling from the devastation of World War II, and the memories of Hiroshima and Nagasaki are fresh. There's a palpable sense of anxiety about nuclear weapons and their destructive potential. Enter Toho Studios, who decided to channel these fears into a film. The result? Gojira, known internationally as Godzilla. This wasn't just any monster movie. Godzilla was a towering embodiment of nuclear destruction, a force of nature awakened and mutated by mankind's own weapons. The original film was dark, somber, and packed a serious punch. It wasn't about cheap thrills. It was a commentary on the dangers of nuclear warfare and the hubris of humanity thinking it could control such power. Heavy stuff, right? But that's what made Godzilla more than just a monster. He was a symbol. The Showa era, 1954 to 1975. Now you might be wondering, how did Godzilla go from being a terrifying symbol of destruction to, well, a hero? That's where the Showa era comes in. In the sequels that followed, Godzilla's character began to shift. The filmmakers started to soften his image, shifting the tone from serious to more lighthearted. Kids loved Godzilla, and Toho Studios took notice. He began battling other monsters, defending Japan from threats like Mothra, King Ghidorah, and Rodan. These epic battles weren't just about spectacle. They represented various fears and concerns of the time, from alien invasions to environmental disasters. Movies like Invasion of Astro Monster and Destroy All Monsters became staples for Saturday matinees and introduced Godzilla to a wider audience. By the end of the Showa era, he was more of a protector than a threat, which only boosted his popularity. Global expansion. So how did Godzilla make his way to the rest of the world? Well, the original films were picked up for international distribution, often re-edited and dubbed to suit Western audiences. A notable example is the 1956 American version of the original film, retitled Godzilla, King of the Monsters. They cleverly inserted scenes with actor Raymond Burr as a journalist witnessing the destruction, making the film more relatable to American audiences. These adaptations helped introduce Godzilla to new fans, but they also altered the tone and message of the original films. Despite that, the allure of a giant monster rampaging through cities was universal. The Heisei era, 1984 to 1995. After a nearly decade-long hiatus, Godzilla roared back into cinemas with The Return of Godzilla in 1984. This film ignored the lighter tones of the previous era and served as a direct sequel to the 1954 original, re-establishing Godzilla as a fearsome force. The Heisei era films delved deeper into storytelling, with interconnected plots that expanded Godzilla's lore. Advances in special effects gave us a more menacing and realistic Godzilla. The films tackled contemporary issues like genetic engineering in Godzilla vs. Biollante, where Godzilla battles a giant plant monster. Environmental themes were prominent, highlighting humanity's impact on nature and the consequences of tampering with life itself. The Heisei era brought Godzilla back to his roots while updating the franchise for a new generation. The Millennium Era, 1999 to 2004. The turn of the millennium brought another reboot of the franchise. The Millennium Era films often operated as standalone stories, each with its own take on the Godzilla mythos. This approach allowed filmmakers to experiment without being tied down by previous storylines. In Godzilla 2000 Millennium, Godzilla returns to wreak havoc, and humanity must deal with both him and an extraterrestrial threat. Another standout is Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack, where Godzilla is portrayed as a malevolent force. Then there's Godzilla Final Wars, 2004, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the franchise, featuring an ensemble of monsters and over-the-top action. These films received mixed reactions, but they kept the franchise fresh and engaging. proving that Godzilla could adapt to modern times. American interpretations. In 1998, Hollywood released its first attempt at a Godzilla film. Directed by Roland Emmerich, it featured a radically different Godzilla design and origin. Instead of a mutated dinosaur, this Godzilla was a giant iguana, mutated by nuclear tests. The film was a commercial success but faced heavy criticism from fans and critics alike. Many felt it strayed too far from the source material. The design, behavior, and absence of his iconic atomic breath left fans wanting more. B. Legendary's Monsterverse, 2014 present. Then came Legendary Pictures with their Monsterverse. Starting with Godzilla in 2014, they aimed to create a shared cinematic universe featuring Godzilla and other classic monsters. Godzilla 2014 reintroduced the King of the Monsters with a more faithful design and a sense of grandeur. This was followed by Kong Skull Island and Godzilla vs. Kong. The films embraced the kaiju genre and delivered breathtaking monster battles. They balanced human stories with titanic action. And the best part, fans loved it. Godzilla in other media. Godzilla isn't just a movie star. He's also appeared in various other media. Hanna-Barbera's Godzilla, 1978, and Netflix's anime trilogy, released between 2017 and 2018, offered different takes on Godzilla. Godzilla has stomped through the gaming world with numerous titles where you can play as Godzilla or other kaiju, wrecking cities and battling monsters. Games like Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee allowed fans to immerse themselves in kaiju chaos, cultural impact, and symbolism. Godzilla isn't just a big lizard. He's loaded with symbolism. Originally, Godzilla represented the horrors of nuclear warfare. Over the years, Godzilla has also come to symbolize environmental issues. Films like Godzilla vs. Hedorah addressed pollution, with Hedorah representing toxic byproducts. More recent films highlight themes of climate change and humanity's impact on nature. Behind the scenes. One of the most fascinating aspects of Godzilla films is suitmation, actors wearing monster suits to portray kaiju. The suits were heavy and hot, weighing over 200 pounds, but they added to the tangible feel of the chaos. The dedication and passion of directors, actors, and special effects artists brought us the epic stories we love. Each era brought new technologies and techniques, enhancing the spectacle and keeping the stories fresh. Fan culture and community. Godzilla has a massive fan base known as G-fans. They span generations and continents, united by their love for the King of the Monsters. Events like G-Fest bring fans together to celebrate all things Godzilla. There's cosplay, screenings, discussions, and a chance to meet figures from the franchise. The fandom is vibrant and diverse. The future of Godzilla. As of now, the future looks bright for Godzilla. There are exciting projects on the horizon, including potential new entries in the Monsterverse. Godzilla remains relevant by evolving with the times. Wow, what a journey! From his beginnings as a symbol of nuclear devastation to becoming a beloved global icon, Godzilla's evolution is nothing short of epic. He has not only entertained millions, but also provoked thought on important issues. The King of the Monsters has truly earned his crown.